Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, where today we're going to be looking over the Korg Volca Keys. Now this synth also came out around the same time as the Volca bass, and we did a review on that last weekend. Click the little link above there in case you missed that episode and want to check it out. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you to all of you synth enthusiasts out there, letting me know what's in your studio and a little bit of history about this little Korg adventure we're going on together. So, with all that said, let's get into the Korg Volca Keys. Okay, so here it is. This is the Korg Volca Keys. Now, same sort of chassis as the Korg Volca bass. This one also has the little speaker that is not the greatest whatsoever. This one's also battery powered, 6 AA batteries. It's got the MIDI in, it's got a 9-volt DC as well. And then you've got the sync in and the sync out and a very simple mono headphone jack. Now the sync, I didn't really cover this in the last video. The sync basically allows you to chain multiple Korgs all together so that you can press play on one and then they'd start playing on all the other ones. So it's kind of handy, but when you've got MIDI, they should have had a MIDI out on this. Take out these two little ports, put in another MIDI right there, and then you can have a MIDI in and a MIDI out. And then you could do little sequences on this. Anyways, that's above my pay grade. So let's turn this guy on. Okay, it does this little dancing little pattern thing. Now this has a couple of different modes. So you've got a poly, a unison, an octave, and then you've got a fifth, a unison ring, and a poly ring. And then you've got the same little, in a sense, octave selector down there below. And then you get into the VCO, so you can detune it. It's got a portamento, which is a glide, and then an EGINT. And the filter, you get a simple cutoff, a peak or resonance, and then an EGINT as well. Very simple LFO little section there. And then you've got your ADSR, so you get an attack, decay release, and a sustain on this one. Now this also does have its own little delay section, so this is kind of like I believe it's a digital tape delay is what this one is. So you get a time and a feedback. And you can set the tempo, your volume, you've got your play, your record, your memory, so you can record, I believe, up to eight different patterns on this, and your function button. Now, the function button is the same as the Korg Volca bass, where you can press it and basically select a whole bunch of different things there, so you can turn the motion sequence on or off. You can, smoothen it. You can clear it. So the motion sequence on this is when you're recording, say you're tweaking these little knobs, that'll record it into the step sequencer itself there. Next on the list, we got the LFO, the wave type for the LFO. So you've got a saw, a triangle, a square, and then you can also set it to a trigger sync. So you can basically just have the LFO hit on a trigger or a trigger on the sync. And then you've got a tempo, so you can go 1 bar, half bar, quarter bar, a metronome, a step trigger, tempo delay. So when you click on the tempo delay, it will kind of sync it to whatever your BPM is on your pattern, I should say. And then you've got a flux, and then you can clear your steps. So let's get to the sound. That's a quite sharp one to start. Now this one doesn't have very good bass at all. It's kind of more of a mid to upper mid high end, high end kind of like synth. Made more for the plucky kind of things, like your very standard little sequences. Now, I thought about this the other night, on the monotribe there, you have the ability to kind of like have it set to wide and narrow on the ribbon keyboard, but they didn't do that on this one. I don't know why they didn't, because like it'd be cool to do like a little pitch up like that, so to say, except not have it kind of like pluck on the keys, so to say. I don't know why they didn't put that on this. Anyways, let's just record a simple little pattern here. So I'm gonna hit play. Okay, horrible pattern, but we're going with it. Now the filter, not super squelchy. The filter is mediocre, I would say. So playing with the detune there. Very nice detune on this. Now the portamento, you can get some fun little sounds there. As for the LFO, let's just set a rate here. Change the LFO to a triangle. And let's put a little bit of a delay on this. So it's very good synth for those little sequences. I've always been a fan of this one. Every now and then I do bust this out and I do use it in tracks, and I've always enjoyed it. It's simple, but it gets the job done. Okay, so currently we're in the poly mode. I'm going to switch this to a unison. Let's take the decay off, or sorry, the delay off. Change it to an octave, so it adds another octave to it. Now we're on the fifth, so that adds a fifth. And then we get to a unison ring and the poly ring. So originally, when you're in the poly mode, it is a square wave, but once you get into the unison ring and the poly ring, it adds a square. So I believe this has 3 oscillators built in, if I do remember. LFO is kind of nice on this one. I'm not a fan of the filter, like the Volca bass. Okay, let's record a little motion sequence. So if I press the motion sequence on and off whilst I'm holding the function, and let's also put on tempo delay on the Okay, so let's start the filter down. So you can see there it recorded that in, and then it starts to flash a little bit when it shows it has movement. Let's record again. So yeah, you can definitely do a lot of this unit. It is quite simple, so to say. Very simple little unit. Yes, I've always been a fan of this one. The sound is good, and like I say, it is more of that mid-range, upper mid-range to the high end where you'll get your nice plucky little sequences going and everything. I do have one, I believe, stored on here that was pretty good. There it is. So yeah, that kind of gives you a nice broad range of a very simple saw wave that does sound good. Can't get over how good this one sounds. Always glad I bought this one. So yeah, I would give this one probably, I'm just straight up gonna say an 11 out of 20. Like, say you're getting into synthesis for the first time, I would highly suggest picking up the Korg Volca Keys because it's got the very simple ADSR. You can kind of learn how an LFO works, very simple filter, and then you get some very simple choices on on your saw waves, or sorry, on your waveforms and how they operate and what detunement does, what portamento does. So yeah, I highly suggest this. 11 out of 10. That's what this one gets. So there you have it, the Korg Volca Keys. Highly suggest this unit. Like say you're just starting to get into analog synthesis and you want to, learn but not spend an exorbitant amount of money on, the big expensive synths that can obviously do a lot more than the Korg Volca Keys. Not saying that the Korg Volca Keys cannot do a lot. It is a very versatile synth. In the past, I've even done like little tom lines. You can do like kind of synthesized tom drum lines on this. Very versatile, and for the price point, you can't go wrong. I think these do go anywhere from $100 to I've seen like $200, $240 on Reverb. They're definitely priced a little higher than the Korg Volca bass. Because this unit is actually decent, and yes, I suggest this one. So let me know, do you use the Korg Volca Keys in your studio? What do you use it for? Yeah, just let me know your thoughts on the Korg Volca Keys. I'd love to hear from you, analog enthusiast out there. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. And in next week's video, we're going to be going over, I'm pretty sure it's the Waldorf Blofeld. I think that was next on my purchase list. I'm trying to remember because there was a time where I was doing little videos of me jamming out on the bass, on the keys, and then I did have a Korg Volca sample, which I sold. So yes, I'm pretty sure it is the Waldorf Blofeld next. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And please also subscribe to my channel as we're getting close to that 100 subscriber mark. And I cannot be any more thankful for all your guys' support so far. So until the next video, bye-bye.